Hey everybody, it's Sunday, April 21st, 2019, which means it is also Easter. So I guess I could say Happy Easter, but by the time I get done editing this and posting this, it'll probably be several days from now. But anyways, we'll do a little bit of a flea market finds video. Again, not really flea market finds. This actually ended up being a buy. This is actually a purchase that came looking for me. Someone who I've bought tools from in the past contacted me through Facebook Messenger out of the blue and asked me if I had any interest in a mortising tool. My first initial thought was, well, not really, because I have a mortising attachment. I have one of these Delta brand mortising attachments for my Delta drill press. So this is an attachment that basically converts your existing drill press into one of these machines. This machine is a dedicated mortiser. It's not really made to do anything other than make mortises. I guess we should start by talking about what a mortise is, right? This piece of wood here is actually part of the fence assembly that comes with that Delta mortiser, and just so happens I've got some pockets here on this. And this machine is designed to make pockets like this. The wood joint that you see on a lot of face frames on cabinets and things like that, and furniture, oftentimes it's made with a type of joint called a mortise and tenon. So the tenon would be the part on the board where you take the end of the board and you thin it out so you have almost like a tongue. And that thin tongue piece, that's called the tenon. And that would slide into a groove like this, which is called a mortise. All right, typically it's a squared off. Okay, so to cut something like this, you use special hollow chisels like this here. Okay, so this is a mortising chisel. And what it is it's got very sharp points and a very sharp edge, all right, and a specially designed drill bit, okay, that runs right in the middle of this. And what happens is, as this plunges down in to make that slot, this drill bit removes most of the wood and uses this interesting scroll on the drill, twist, to actually act as a little conveyor and pull those chips out so they can fall out of this slot on the side here. Okay. So the question is, well, how do you get a square hole with the round bit? Well, what happens is all that's left behind is the little corners, and this is so sharp that the downward pressure that you apply with your quill on your drill press or your mortising attachment will actually allow this to cut right through. So what you can do is you can make a square hole with this. Then you have a fence set up here. So your stock that you're cutting, you would actually have this set up. You would cut one square hole, move this over a little bit, cut another one, move it over, cut another one. You would cut a series of square holes to make a slot like that. And that's basically all there is to it. So these dedicated mortising machines in a professional name brand like Delta are actually quite expensive, and I've never owned one. This particular one is actually made by Craftsman. I don't know exactly what this sold for originally. I'm not too worried about it because I got a really good deal on it, because he basically called me and like I said, he messaged me and he told me he had this thing and he was interested in selling it. I asked him about the condition, and he said it's brand new. He said, I actually just put it together out of the box. So I was intrigued. So he sent me some photos. I took one look at it. I realized, oh yeah, that's a pretty decent machine. And I immediately reached out to one of my regular tool buyers. He's about half-hour drive from here. And I know he's into woodworking, and I thought, well, this might be something he'd be interested in. So I talked to him, again through Messenger. We communicated. I showed him the photos that were sent to me, and we reached an agreement that he would be interested in it if I could get it. Initially, I thought I was going to be able to get it for one price. Then things changed, but the long and short of it is, I ended up doing a little bit of horse trading. I unloaded some tools, basically 3 drills, hand drills that I don't use anymore. One of them brand new in the box, and then 2 used ones, and a couple of the small items that I had that I knew would be of interest to this individual, and mainly a box of old wrenches that I had collected, and I was going to use them for some sort of a project that I never ended up really getting around to doing, and I still have plenty more to do that project if I want to do it later. And this guy that I bought this from loves his old wrenches. He loves cleaning them up and painting them and making them look pretty, and so gave him a whole large box of old wrenches and got in trade. I gave him that stuff and cash, and got this in trade and the other items I'm going to show you. So it worked out well. So what ends up happening is I'm going to sell this to Jack. Jack's supposed to actually come pick this up tomorrow, and he'll be happy because he'll have a brand new machine for $100. And essentially what I end up getting out of it is I end up getting the few items that we added into the deal for free. So I think we all made out on this one. Oh, so just getting back to this real quick, this attachment thing. So why bother having one of these machines? Why not just use this attachment? Well, the problem is you've got to mount this attachment to your drill press. Now your drill press is tied up to do that job, dedicated. Then you got to break it down if you want to use the drill press for something else. Whereas if you have this just sitting on the bench, you've got a dedicated machine to do nothing but mortising. Also, typically these are excuse me, these are faster. They work quicker. So he even had the owner's manual. Again, it's brand new, and that's great because then I was able to actually check in the parts list here and make sure that all the accessories were present. Right, so I'm going to unlock this depth stop, and you can see, pull the handle, comes down. Another curious thing is this part right here, which is just listed simply as an adapter in the parts list, but it doesn't really explain what the purpose of this is. This appears to have the same size thread as what I believe the spindle on this motor has for the chuck. Remove the chuck, install this adapter, and then let's see, what would be the purpose of that? Right here on page 5 I find the answer. Note, hollow chisel mortiser is supplied with an adapter to accept short shank drill bits. To install adapter, and then it just basically says, yeah, what you do is you remove the chuck, put the adapter on, put the chuck back on, and that will give you the extra extension necessary to use short shank drill bits in the mortiser. So that's interesting. The other thing that's interesting is it actually says in the instructions here that it does not come with the hollow chisel mortiser bits, that you have to buy them separately. So whoever had this also bought this hollow chisel mortising bit 3/8, and apparently never used it. So before we move on to the other items I picked up, which are of more interest to me, let's fire this up. So, I mean, as expected for something that's brand new, smooth as glass, no problems. Here's the stuff I basically ended up getting for free. This is just a small Starrett radius gauge set. This is on number 279 radius gauge. I have one of these now. I've had a few of these come in and out of my hands. Nice little radius gauge set. Number 279 Starrett. That's going to be, I guess we'll probably put that up on Steve's basement tonight. This is a Starrett telescopic hole gauge set. I have a set just like this. It smells like cigarette smoke. I have a set just like this in SPI, and you know, Starrett's obviously better than SPI, but the SPI set I have is practically like new. As a matter of fact, I was torn between, I had a Mitutoyo set that I sold, and I actually kept the SPI for myself because I knew that the Mitutoyo would have more resale value. And like I said, the SPI is brand new and it's good enough for my purposes. Ideally, I'd like to get a Starrett set like this or a Brown Sharpe set like this in very good condition. So this case is pretty badly worn. It's very hard to see. When he brought it out, it was actually missing the two smallest ones here, and when I informed him that it was missing 3, he was able to go and find 2. So this is a this is a 5 out of 6 piece set, so it's almost complete. I believe it's missing letter A, which is the smallest. So if you look at the actual part number on these, this set is a Starrett 579, and then the dash E means that this is the E size. So it's supposed to be A, B, C, D, E, F. And it's missing one of the ones. Forget which one. So I'll probably sell that cheap. Might as well get to this since I just broke it out. He brought this little Starrett box out, and I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. And he opens it up, and I see this little pouch in there, and I was like, what the heck we have here? That's something I've never seen before. And then come to find out, the box is just for a Starrett sleeve, a 196K sleeve, which is the kind of sleeve like you would see on the rod on a surface gauge or an indicator stand. So nothing really fancy about that. I may even have this sleeve. I forgot it out in the truck, but he gave me a little jar full of just miscellaneous stuff that I initially told him I wasn't interested in, and he just told me to just take it. So there was a sleeve in there. But anyways, this is a loop. L-O-U-P-E. This is marked on the back, Japan, and it's marked on the front, Maxon 10 power, 10x for 10 times magnification. And it's actually a decent little loop. And I had one of these years ago that I always kept with me when I would go to auctions. There was a time when I was really into coin collecting, so I pretty much always made sure I had one of these on me. And it's just a nice little handy magnifier. It doesn't take up much room. It's very small. I like the little leather pouch. It's also marked Japan on the back, so it's probably the original pouch for the loop. I haven't been able to find one like it online. That's it. Drop and break it, Steve. But hey, just basically threw that in, made it part of the deal. Then there was this case, which is for a Brown Sharpe BestTest. Inside the case, there was actually a couple of pieces in here that I took out, and I threw in another box of junk that he had because I said they didn't belong in here whatsoever. So that's case in point, that's a point for a drop indicator. There's actually still some stuff in here that doesn't belong. There's 2. This extension rod, I'm not sure about. I actually could pull out, I've got several of these BestTest sets. I could probably pull one out just to try and figure out what the heck is supposed to be in here. I don't think this extension rod, this almost looks like an extension rod for a drop indicator. Well, no, dimension's wrong on it, but that doesn't, so I don't know. And then get this, look at this little, I don't know if you can see that or not, right there. See those discs? those are actually a stack of wrenches. So there's 1, 2. Oh, what do we got? 2 washers. 2 washers. But these are the little wrenches that come in the box with like. Typically, they come with this type of indicator, the BestTest. But I thought there was only one. I thought you only get 1 wrench. Or is that 2 sizes? See, I thought it was. Oh, hold on. Maybe that's 2 sizes. No, these are 2 identical. I don't know why, but there's 2 identical ones in there. And what this is, so here's the indicator. Turns out he had the indicator. It was on this stand. He didn't realize that this is the indicator for this box. I spotted it right away because I recognized it. But that's a Brown and the Sharpe. That's an old Brown and Sharpe logo right there. Okay, and not only is this a BestTest indicator, but what's nice is it's a 7032-2. This is a 10,000ths indicator. It's 0.0001, and it's perfect working condition. Nothing wrong with that at all. It says it was last calibrated back in 1991. So this one's been around. So this, that's been on there a while. This is supposed to live right here like that. Okay. But anyways, this little wrench, this little disc with a slot in it is actually the wrench for removing your point. So you can change it. There's actually on the point here, there's a flat, and you stick that wrench on that like this. Okay, and I can actually unscrew. This one's actually pretty loose. Okay. And you just gently snug it up, and you're good to go. So at some point when I sit down with all my BestTests and decide which ones to sell, I'll have to try and figure out how many complete sets or close to complete sets I can make as far as with what's supposed to be in this set. This little thumb wheel right here, okay, I don't believe that belongs. So the reason why I was looking at this thumb wheel was because I noticed this, yeah, this is a Brown and Sharpe magnetic indicator stand, and this is actually a pretty popular one. I've seen quite a few of these over the years, and unfortunately, this guy, he spray painted this thing brown. He just did this, which is a shame. I told him, I said, I honestly wish you hadn't done that. This was originally all, natural finished metal with the patina on it. This is supposed to be, I don't remember if it's chrome or what, but, well, let me show you. I've got the same indicator stand. Oh, my apologies. I thought I had one identical to this. This is a little bit different. This is, I don't remember who makes this one. But you can see the similarities, why I thought. So, the way this is supposed to work is you loosen this right here, and that allows this to swivel very easily. And then as you tighten this, it will lock this down somewhat. It adds friction to it, so it kind of locks it. All right. The reason why I'm showing you that is because this one is sick. What happens is when you turn this one, the whole base part right down in there actually just keeps turning and turning and turning inside this base. All right, and for the love of me, I wouldn't even begin to know how that's supposed to come apart. So unfortunately, if I could just pull it apart. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, there we go. So could probably just maybe a little dab of epoxy or something, or Well, with this out, maybe now I can get this loose enough. So it looks like maybe he got the paint in there. See, there you can see the color of what it's supposed to be originally. Let me see if I can break that loose. Well, I took this apart and it looked like that actually somehow the aerosol paint that he used to spray this managed to actually get inside there. So I cleaned the threads and cleaned that all out in there, and that's working the way it should now. But the problem is that this is just completely stripped out of the hole where it's supposed to be pressed in there. So I'm gonna need some epoxy or something to fix that. I did put that thumb wheel that I found in the box there. I stuck it in here because it does seem to work for the fine adjustment. Yeah, I'll probably just sell this as is. Cheap stand if somebody wants to take a little time and fix it up themselves. Let's take a look at the free junk in the container and see if there's anything that I missed. So there's an extension rod for something. Nothing. Here's the sleeve. Alright, this is a nice Starrett sleeve, and it is, see how handy the loop is? This is a 57S Starrett sleeve. This is the type of sleeve that I've seen on the larger surface gauges. And I had a surface gauge that had one on it. Matter of fact, I've got a surface gauge now that has one just like this on it. Oh, what's it? Look at that. Somebody stuck a little dowel pin in there. But anyways, yeah, so that's what that is. That's a 57S. This is not. But still a nice sleeve. Okay. Has all of these different sized holes. Fits two different size rods on your surface gauge, and then gives you multiple hole sizes for the rod for the indicator. Here's a more typical sleeve. Wonder what that is. Can't even tell if that's a Starrett. It's not marked. It's interesting. This almost doesn't look like the correct wheel for this. See the color change in the metal? I'm wondering if this is a Starrett sleeve and somebody changed that. I don't know. See, that looks like the right one for that one. This one appears to be missing something. Thought that was a drill bit. It's not. It's just a rod. This is a larger indicator clamp. MHC. I got a couple of these, I think. You know, mystery solved. Just found this out. Looked this up. The 196K sleeve, or 645K. This is the one that was in the coffee can here that he gave me. This is the one that belongs in this box by the looks of it, but it's missing parts. It's missing a spring that goes on here. It sits inside there. Which that's no big deal, but more importantly, it's missing a cup-shaped piece that would actually sit over here and would actually, when this spring pulls this back this way, it pushes that cup up and causes the clamping action on this hole. So without that cup, there's no way for this to work. So unfortunately, it's a incomplete 196K sleeve. And then these things right here, he asked me if I knew what these were, and I told him, I said, I think these are ferrite beads that are supposed to go on the electrical cords of some sort of electrical device, and that it's supposed to actually help neutralize RF noise from going back into the electrical grid. Yep, there it is. Comes right up. Parts Express ferrite core 1/2 inch, $6.04 a piece. Is interesting. Solved. Ferrite cores, to use or not to use? CNET forums. So, well, that's an interesting little article for me to read. Well, so they're basically crap. Don't really think I need them. Well, I guess that's a wrap for tonight. Jeez.